Today we have with us Mr. Aman Anand from Kickstart Entertainment, who has done a lot of events, and the biggest wedding of the year was planned by him, Shahid Mira's wedding. Hello sir, welcome.
Hi.
So tell us a bit about your company. How did you start, and how do you guys function, and what all do you do? Exactly?
The company is not even a year old actually. I personally have a background of producing shows and events from Wishcraft and Percept and Fountainhead. I started with Fountainhead, and I think I learned a lot from them, from Brian Tellis, Owen, Jairam, Neil, from that team. And then moved on to Percept, where I did 6 years with Percept, and I ended up as CEO entertainment with the company. That's where I created Sunburn. So I have a background on producing shows and events, and by default, with all this access to people in the industry, is where I've developed a lot of great friends and goodwill over the industry. And that's how when I quit last year and started our own company, it was actually Salman Khan and Reshma Shetty who gave us the opportunity to start our first event, which is the Kick concert, and hence the name Kickstart Entertainment. So we designed the full Kick concert for the film, and immediately after that, again, Reshma and Salman were very kind, and at Matrix, and they gave us the next opportunity, which was the Star Box Office Awards, which we pulled off on Star Plus. So that's how the company started, and we've touchwood done a fairly interesting array of businesses. The company is not even 1 year old, but yes, we've done the Kick concert, we've done something in the award space, we've done a couple of big corporate events for Aditya Birla Retail, Shrey Infrastructure in Calcutta. So we've got our hands and legs in different areas, and the team, I can say confidently, is doing a great job at servicing all these businesses. And now Kickstart forays in the wedding business.
So how has your whole experience been till now?
It's been outstandingly positive. I think in lack of a better word, the term goodwill is actually paid off, and you can see that happening. It's been 15 years of being in Bombay, and started from scratch from a DJ who used to play at J49. And touchwood, everything's falling into place, and the way we are positioning Kickstart, it's all falling into place.
All these big events, it takes time to plan them and execute them perfectly. So how does it, how do you feel when there is a time crunch also? Because always they come in the last moment and they say, I want this, I want that. So
I think if you had the luxury of time, then anybody can do anything. So the magic comes when you don't have the luxury of time, and then what your backup plans are. Yeah. And that's very, very evident in the event business, is how you can pull off things differently than what the rest can. So it's about always having that one plan in place and having the backup plan ready. So between that, and nothing is possible without a team. So we have Nimish Sanghvi, who's the head of operations, and he just fills all the other holes. He plugs all of them and says, this is possible, that's not possible. So we make commitments accordingly to clients. So Nimish handles that. My wife looks after the wedding business, Shilpa Dhawan Anand. She looks after all the wedding part of that business. And she's going to be looking after it more closely now. Though she's been busy with our baby, but she's going to look after it more closely now.
You also planned the biggest wedding of this year, Shahid Mira's wedding. So tell us a bit about how they approached you, and how did you plan the whole thing?
Shahid actually is a very old friend of mine. We are friends first. We know each other for 11 years. We've done some great work together, apart from anything else. In fact, I was possibly the key person to convince him to host IFA, and made him and Farhan host it together for the next 2 years. Unfortunately, I was not there last year, this last IFA, but he had a good time, and he told me about it. So Shahid actually called me from IFA. It's so ironic, and he called me from IFA and said, I'm getting married, and you know about it, and I need you there. So I said, done. And we just stepped in and kind of filled in all the gaps where they had already done a lot of planning, because it was planned in advance. But we kind of just filled in the gaps and moved things around, because we know the sensitivities of a big Bollywood star, and Shahid is the top 3 in this country possibly right now, after outstanding job on Haider. I mean, there's nobody, he's got all the awards and accolades. So there is a lot of sensitivity involved in producing something for a star of that nature, you know. Having said that, we try and treat all our clients with that much of importance, but there was a bit of sensitivities involved with a big star like him.
So, did you guys give him a catalog of things that you know, this options we have and you can take it, or was it a custom thing?
It
from
was
the first?
totally customized from day one. So we don't what some of my bosses always use the term of cut and paste. We don't do that. So every job is customized. With Shahid, we sat down and just gave him, maybe just heard him out actually first with the do's and don'ts which he has in mind, and a lot of things. I think Shahid is pretty clear in his mind how he wants to get married. So we just respected that and just played along the field around that and said, okay, these are the things we'll do, these are the things we won't. And we just ensured that we had a happy couple after the wedding.
So any special requests that he had made to you all?
There was a lot to do with sensitivity on access to media, security of our guests, logistics. There were a lot of those nuances which had to be looked into because there were a lot of people being flown in. So, and touch wood, we've got some outstanding compliments from everybody because not one guest had to wait for a car for more than 30 seconds. Everybody was secure. We had bouncers, almost 72 guards around the clock. Trident did an outstanding job in securing and ensuring the privacy of the family. So that was looked after very well. I was giving an example to somebody earlier that it could only happen at the Trident, where once Shahid and Mira came and it just burst out raining. It was pouring rain after their wedding, and Trident laid out, as the bride walked, they laid out towels. So she walks on white towels, so her shoes also don't get wet. So they looked after very interesting small things, and the hotel did a lot of that effort to this wedding.
So, as you said, there were many people coming in and a lot of logistics involved. So how did you, with these big marriages and these big events, how do you look after the logistics of these events?
So we have, as I said, so Nimish heads operations, and Nimish kind of designed the plan in place. At the end of the day, today we're very, very clear. 10 years back, 15 years back, when you would do events, it would be 20% of planning and 80% on the ground execution. Today that has changed drastically. It is 80% planning and 20% execution. So if you get your planning right, everything else will fall into place. So we had really good teams. So Nimish handled everything from this side, plus there we had another one of our close friends, Manali. She jumped in. We got her on board. She actually also helped with Dia Mirza's wedding. So Manali got on board. She put in a lot of effort together in the logistics and the hotels and everything over there. And everything came back to Nimish and the team, and they just pulled off a super job.
So the three biggest highlights of the wedding and the reception, if you had to tell?
Delhi was a very close-knit affair, so there was not so much of a highlight over there. It was very family, and as normal Indian family would like a private wedding. That's how well they did it. So multiple of cuisines and different things, because it was all pulled off at the different venues. They didn't want things in repetitive, and this is a full. Shahid's vegetarian and his family is vegetarian, so every single thing was vegetarian. We learned a lot from them. That there's some particular cheese which has non-veg in it, element of non-veg. So it was called rennet-free cheese is what we had to get. So there were a lot of elements which we learned down the road of working with Pankajji's son Ruhan Kapoor. Ruhan's actually a chef, and he designed the menu at a lot of places with us in our team, and said these are the things which can happen, these are things we cannot. So he was with Nimish at the food tasting at Palladium. They designed a lot of elements over there. And one of the key highlights, I think, traditionally all big weddings in Bombay, if you see any of the big star weddings, they always happen in a banquet hall or a reception like that. And we tried to do it differently, and we took over 2 floors of the Palladium. So Palladium shut down all their restaurants that day for us. And we designed different cuisines, different looks, everything in a different way for the biggest wedding of the year, Shahid and Mira.
So tell us a bit about the food and decor that you guys did.
The food was it was traditionally pan-Asian because it was catered out of Mekong at the Palladium, and they have their head chefs who are award-winning chefs who service the Mekong restaurant, which is Thai. And this was done. The menu was designed in conjunction with Ruhan. Ruhan had a lot of inputs to play with the food quality and everything to do with that. So it was totally vegetarian, a huge amount of starters, and main course was sit down. Traditionally, unlike a buffet area where you go and serve. So it was a sit down dinner catered for all the guests. So we had almost 3 rounds of sittings for guests, and we ensured that 450 people odd was served to properly in a sit down format in a restaurant, and was highly appreciated over there on the menu.
So who was much more involved, Shahid, Mira, or their parents?
Everybody was involved in different ways. So Supriya auntie and Pankaj uncle were involved in all the nuances which were going to the family, from the girl's family, whether it was, you know, the normal welcomes or traditional exchanges and stuff like that. That was all handled by them. We had Ruhan, who was very, very intricate on the F&B and what was getting served at what places. Shahid was involved, so everything went into Shahid for a decision, and Shahid, being Shahid, always looked up to his dad and said, let's have a discussion, and they would have a chat and get back. Then he would always have a chat with Mira, and we always got a decision together. They would always chat, talk about it, figure out a solution, and tell us option 1, option 2. So one could be a dream option, and one could be, if you can't achieve this, then this is the backup. So Shahid knows nuances. I mean, he's been seeing events as a business for the past so many years, since the start of his career. So he knows a lot of stuff anyways on do's and don'ts and what works in large scale events. Having said that, we had to keep the sensitivity in mind because it's the first time Mira would be facing cameras and everything. So there were a lot of sensitivities involved in that.
What about the decorations at both the venues?
Delhi was handled because it's very small scale in Delhi in the house. So there was a very basic design. Very nice though. It was done by an event company called Shloka from Calcutta, who's done a lot of work for the family, the girl's family in the past. So they were also involved. Yuvraj from Shloka did a great job. They handled the reception part in Delhi, which is again a closed-did affair. And that was that. We eventually over here in Bombay, our decor was, we had Rachna involved. Rachna has done a couple of big weddings before, quite a few actually. The last one being Arpita's wedding she did. So we roped her involved to execute more our dream than anything. So we had a vision which we presented to Shahid. Shahid loved it. And then we got her involved to design that vision and put it into play. So every single area in the Palladium was looked after and treated differently. So a lot of inputs from Rachna, and she designed it and did a great job on that.
So when you get a prospective client in front of you, how do you decide what will excite him or what he will like?
That's an interesting question. So every client, as I said, is different. We always hear from them out. We spend time hearing them out on what are their do's and don'ts, what sort of weddings have they gone to, or what sort of events have they gone to, and what have they liked, and what are the don'ts, which they just, you know, we could have a client on one hand who says, you know, I hate this sort of music, and the other client who says, listen, I only want that sort of music. So it could be as basic as content like that. We try and give them differentiations in terms of Sonu Nigam is a great friend, and every big wedding likes a Sonu Nigam. But how can we do Sonu Nigam differently on that wedding is where we come into play. Because of our relationship with so much of talent, we can convince them on what to do on a particular event differently. And I think Kickstart Entertainment is scoring a lot of points doing that.
And you're also doing Madhu Mantena and Masaba's wedding.
Yeah, we're designing their wedding also.
So could you tell a bit about that as well?
That's really under wraps at the moment. It's going to take its course. We are designing 2 or 3 nice functions for them. We did their engagement also at a silo. Again, that was a different engagement thing which we designed. Madhu is a very, very good friend and well-wisher of this company. And I can say confidently he was one of the reasons which I quit my work as an employee. And he just backed me up and he said that whatever you want, I'll be standing behind you. And touch wood, it's really shown. So we're designing Madhu's wedding and Masaba. They're good friends now. So we're going to be doing something interesting for them. We'll tell you more when it opens up. So that should be fun.
Thanks a lot. This is Karan with cameraman Vijay, Bollywood Live.